And welcome to Martial Arts Day Television. I'm your host, Joe Rebelo, and we have a very special guest today, and a person I've known actually originally through the internet and through the Kempo world. And we're going to be talking today about Kempo-inspired jewelry with Cristina Hurley. Again, Cristina,
Hi.
Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come on our show.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, the first question I always ask all my interviewees is, how did you begin in the martial arts?
Well, I actually began through my husband, who was practicing Kenpo karate at the time. It was, I believe, 2008, and he suggested that I come to a class and try it. So I did, and that was pretty much it. After a couple of classes, I was totally hooked, and here I am. I'm still doing it today.
Wow. Now, for our audience, who was your original instructor?
My original instructor is Craig Lowe from Norwood, Massachusetts.
And I've known Craig over the years through various Kempo groups, actually, and now training with Larry Tatum.
Yes,
and,
he's under Larry.
And through Mr. Parker's system. And he's gone through quite a, he had trained, if I'm not mistaken, originally in the Fred Villari system, the Nick Serio, and then the Parker system, and of course now with Mr. Tatum. Now, so tell me what it was like with your first experience taking your first martial arts class.
Well, it was very interesting. My husband put me in a gi that was way too big on me. So I felt very awkward in my first class, but I got through it, and I had a background of two other systems of motion, I guess. I had done ballet in my childhood for, I think, 5+ years and got very high into that. I suffered a fall, and so I had to quit ballet, and then I didn't do anything for a very long time, but I always was looking for something to do. And when I lived in New York City, I did yoga, and I did that for a long time, but that's still, like, I really enjoyed it, but it didn't fulfill everything I needed or was looking for. But then when I took that first Kenpo class, I was like, this is everything I have been looking for some kind of way to express myself moving, because ballet was moving, but it was very restricted. Yoga, the poses weren't coming naturally to me, but Kenpo karate was just, I don't know, everything clicked and fell into place, and it was, I found what I was looking for.
Now, again, I find this is very fortuitous that we're doing this episode now, because very happy for you and very proud to say that recently you tested and received your black belt. I did,
and I'm sort of still absorbing it. It's a life-changing experience, and you sort of, you know, you're always sort of working so hard towards it. And then what I found so interesting, and I'm, you know, I think it's been 3 weeks since I tested, so I'm very new. And what I realized was that a lot of emotions came over me, but I also felt like so many doors immediately opened. Like it wasn't the end, it was a brand new beginning. And I just got so excited about that, because I felt like I was working so hard towards this goal, but that it's not the top at all. Right. That there's just an infinite amount of material that comes after, and my main feeling was excitement to be essentially beginning again and just moving forward into a whole new territory, I guess.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, we've got, if we can take a moment, you were kind enough to bring your certificate.
I did.
We've got to do the obligatory picture with the certificate and show this. And welcome to the fraternity and sorority of black belts. In this case, the sisterhood of female black belts in American Kenpo.
Yeah, I'm proud to be a Kenpo woman. I am.
Well, you know, now let's talk about an important feature and really one of the passions in your life, besides martial arts, of course, is jewelry. Now,
yes.
How did you get involved in the jewelry craft?
Well, I have another family member to thank. It was my mom, and she was very good friends with a metalsmith, a jeweler that was down in Puerto Rico. And as you know, I lived in Puerto Rico during my childhood, and they ran into each other at Woolworth Do you remember when
Yes.
Woolworth still existed?
Oh, you bet.
So we always loved Woolworth and would go there, and they ran into each other, and her friend said, I'm starting up a class. I want Cristina to take it. And my mom was like, oh, okay, I'll ask her and see if, you know, she wants to do it. And when my mom asked me, I immediately said yes, and she said, okay, I'll enroll you, and we're going to do it. And just like my first Kempo class, I took that class and I was completely hooked, and it was a 6-week course, and at the end of the course my teacher took me into her office and said, do you really, really love doing this? And I said yes. And she said, okay, I would like to offer you an apprenticeship.
Wow.
And that completely changed the course of my entire life. I had no idea what I was going to do, but it paved the way for my whole life.
Oh, that's
And it was really a fun ride because she had gone to Rhode Island School of Design,
Oh, RISD,
which
yeah.
RISD, which I eventually got into thanks to her, you know, per her recommendation. So I finished my degree there in jewelry, and I mean, I was very fortunate. I found it very young. I was 17 when I started.
Wow.
So I'm 25 plus years
That's
making jewelry.
That's incredible. You know, and I can really relate to the understanding and relationship to the arts. I have a friend of mine's, Barbara, and she has a degree in metalsmithing and jewels, and even though her mastery is in tailoring, she misses that so much. She always talks about jewelry, and she always talks about that, and it was like, and she showed me some of her work, and really it's the love that you put into your art. It's the love that you put into your art.
Yeah, just like Kempo.
Oh, definitely.
You know, and I feel like that I'm very fortunate that I found two passions that I can relate to in the same way. It's almost like when you begin an apprenticeship when you're a white belt,
Right.
essentially. So you start at the bottom and you work your way up, and you earn you earn your experience, and you earn your techniques, because there are techniques in making jewelry.
Everything's a technique.
Yeah, and you learn your form. Your form is your style and how you express yourself, right? So then that was even more exciting with Kempo, because I felt like I was like, oh my God, this is the same. This is an art.
And that's the key, being an artist and a martial artist. And you know, it's funny, over my tenure being involved in an art studio, I would have artists say to me, well, you're not really an artist. And I was like, wait, I'm a martial artist.
Yeah.
It's in the job description, it's in the tax forms, and then, you know, it's martial arts. But you're really able to now take this and cross-reference it with your martial arts. Tell us how Kenpo-inspired jewelry all began.
Okay, Kempo-inspired jewelry began with the 4th Ed Parker book.
Oh, okay.
So I was reading Infinite Insights of Kempo, you know, volume 4.
Yep.
And I came along the universal pattern pendant, or universal pattern chapter, right?
24 pages in that book, by the way.
And I read it, and I'm so visual that I spent, I don't know how long, looking at the pictures, you know, and they're showing it to you at different angles, and they show the 3D one, and I mean, I was just fascinated. So I was like, you know, this is lines and spaces, lines and spaces, lines and spaces, and I just kept thinking that. And all of a sudden I realized that, you know, making jewelry and sawing and piercing is lines and spaces. It's all lines and spaces. So I thought, you know what? I wonder if I could make this into a piece of jewelry. So I cut out the image, and I photocopied it down to the right size, and I stuck it onto a piece of silver, and it came out beautiful. You know, it just became, I guess, out of the metal. And I actually gifted the very first universal pattern pendant to Larry Tatum. And when it came out so good, I was like, I would love to just, you know, give this to somebody and see if he likes it or what he might think about it. And I mailed it to him. Master Lowe was kind enough to give me his school address, and I mailed it to him with a letter, and he immediately wrote me back. He's such a nice man, and he said, these are wonderful, you have to keep making them, I'm gonna wear mine, and blah, blah, blah. So it just, that's where it went. And you know, I have to tell you, you were there almost at the beginning. I think I made you one of the first ones that was colored with enamels. So then you caught wind of it and got one, and it just...
And told everybody and their grandmother, you know, because
Yes.
let me tell you, it's like, you know, as a adult man, was seeing that universal pattern and having my initial reaction be, I was like a little kid. And
That's what
like,
I'm looking for. That's the reaction I'm going for.
It was, you know, it was like, without stealing the copyright of a TV show, it was glee. So childlike glee of like, wow, look at that, that's cool. And having someone, and also, you know, supporting a local artist.
Yes,
you know, I mean,
that's very important.
We're here in Massachusetts, and being a local artist and supporting this, and it was the beauty of seeing something that was so important. And if for those of you who are our viewers of our show, who might also check out my YouTube channel or my other program, Rebel's Kenpo Karate, most times you see this enormous universal pattern in the background. It's so important. And I always wanted to get one made out of metal so I could show different angles and how things work.
Yeah.
To really,
Did you have an iron worker do it?
No, we have one in wood. We had a smaller one made in wood. Metal is the next thing. We're having one made that you can actually place on the ground so you can see. And we have a dummy called the Kempo Man. We're having a base made, painted with the universal pattern, so you see the angles of entry and the different paths of footwork. And I'm always fascinated when someone has one in their studio and different incarnations of the universal pattern and how they're depicted in their studio and applied in the use of Kempo. Now, from there, you went on, and we've got to show some of these. You went on to, of course, the Ed Parker crest.
I did.
And tell us how you went from making the first crest. How did all this go going?
Well, the crest was actually another martial artist through Mr. Rich Hale.
Sure.
Contacted me, and he's like in the Oregon, I believe they're all up in Oregon.
Art Copeland?
Yes, Art Copeland, and they all originally studied together in Alaska, is from what I understand, if I'm not mistaken. So Art Copeland contacted me and said, is there any chance that you might be interested in creating a ring, you know, with the crest on it? And I said, well, I don't know. It's so detailed. We have fortes and we have weaknesses, like in martial arts. We do as well in jewelry, and wax carving is not my forte. So I was like, yes, I would, but I need some kind of high quality master where I can work from that. And he helped me develop that. So Art gets a lot of the credit, and I really wanted to give him that credit, because he made it possible for us to do it. And when it came out, I was thrilled, obviously, and it also opened many, many doors to, you know, different people that I met, and you know, a whole other facet of, you know, there are a lot of people that love the crest, and it has so much meaning to so many of us. So it was a great way to honor Mr. Ed Parker and, you know, perpetuate that, and I'm very honored to be able to do it. You know, and they're coming out fantastic.
Oh yeah, you know, folks, I have to tell you, for those of you who are Kempo practitioners who are watching this either through our cable station here or through YouTube, again, I grew up on the crests with jewelry, whether you were with the IKK and you had the flat tie tacks or the flat enameled logos that were worn as a keychain or as a necklace, or the 3D image ones, which most of the high-ranking black belts and black belts had, of the 3D dragon and tiger, and I'm wearing a variation on that today from another gentleman, and I'll throw out the name, Mr. Deaton, who had these done out in Bali. But to have the first one for me, when I saw Hot Planet had a flat one. And I saw it so detailed. I was like, where'd you get it? It was like, well, I had the mold made. Can I get one? You know, it was like, and it was, different things happened. Never had a chance to, but I never forgot that imagery of that flat image ring of the crest.
Yes.
And when you put the first one out, and I had to surgically attach my jaw back on my head because it was hanging down, dragging dirt from how beautiful it came out.
It came out great.
It's really a sight to behold. But you've really run with this. Can we show somebody? Well, you've bought some of the pieces, and
I did,
and we'll show you close-ups of them as well during the episode. But you know, this is incredible work. First of all, this is based on the original Universal that you had done.
Yes, and the originals were this size, and now I'm doing many different sizes. But this one is created in the way that I explained to you. So it's 2 layers. The first layer is cut out of sheet by hand, every single space, one at a time. And then while it's still flat, I solder that onto another sheet to give it, you know, thickness and stability, right? And then I do a texture in the spaces because I like, as in the universal pattern, there's a reason why there's contrast. Right. There are white lines, black spaces, or black lines, white spaces.
Right, if you're looking outwardly toward it or you're inside of it looking out.
Exactly. So I really wanted to try to get something that was, you know, represented that, okay? Now I make them smaller, bigger, fatter, you know, all different kinds.
And while we're talking about that, again, here's a smaller, and again, we'll be showing you and comparing, contrasting, showing you close-ups.
Yes. So this one is, obviously when you start to build a clientele, they give you feedback.
You bet.
And I love that. I love feedback. And a lot of the feedback from many male Kempoists specifically, and that's a very interesting part of it too, is that it opened a very wide door for men wanting to wear jewelry, because I love creating jewelry for men and they've always liked it. But you know, this is jewelry that men really want to wear, but men are very specific about what the kind of jewelry they want to wear. Some like very big and gold, and some like very small and silver. And I got a lot of feedback about that, a lot of Kempoists wanted something that was small, that they could just wear all the time. And that's when a smaller one came into being. And as you can see, there's a big difference.
Oh yeah, the size.
In the size. Because, you know, you want to have variety of metals, variety of sizes, variety of chains, et cetera, et cetera. So I started looking into more variety.
Wow.
And, you know, I really like that feedback, that there are people out there that want to wear it all the time.
Definitely.
You know, never want to take it off, you know.
By all means.
And I got great feedback from men too, for example, if I can reach over
Sure, by all
here.
means.
A lot of men wanted cufflinks. And honestly, I had never made very many cufflinks before, but a lot of Kempo men go to nice
that
events.
childlike glee moment.
Yes, yes. So as you can see, they're cufflinks.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And I don't know if you know a gentleman, a Kempoist, he's out of England, named Damien Abbott.
Sure.
You know of Damien Abbott?
You bet.
I made the very first pair of universal pattern, unfortunately I don't have any here today, cufflinks for Damien Abbott.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and you know, he loved them, and I was like, you know.
Damien, you got a free plug, there you go.
Yes, Damien, and he loved them, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make cufflinks, you know. Then I had women say, oh, I really love this stuff, because there are women Kempoists just like me, and we like to wear jewelry. So I moved into bangles and charms and bracelets. And these are doing great too, because as you can see, you can get the Kempo Karate crest, and you can also get the universal, and you can wear them together.
Wow.
I have studs.
I was going to say, you went into earrings.
I did. I went into earrings, and men and women love these.
Sure.
Because there are lots of men out there that wear stud earrings.
Yeah.
So now you have an even tinier version of the universal.
Wow.
But see, the way I was able to create the masters with Art Copeland's help is we get a lot of detail even scaling way down. So it's just been, it's been awesome, really awesome.
And we've got to show the crest. This is, again, this is
I wanted to leave that one for last.
Oh, okay. I'll hold on.
Yeah.
Well, I want to show this last one because this last one is distinctly different from all the other Kempo.
Yeah, they are. You want to show that one last?
Yeah, let's talk about this, please.
So yeah, this one has definitely been the best seller.
Oh yeah.
Obviously. And this is the IKKA crest.
Incredible.
And as you can see, the detail.
The detail is phenomenal.
Is amazing.
The detail is phenomenal. When I saw it, it was like, again, jaw hitting the floor.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking for, something that really had detail and quality to it.
I mean, the dragon, just the fact that there's, there's so much going on in the dragon, and I really, I stress that with when I get my castings back. I'm kind of a nut about quality.
Sure.
And whenever I get my pieces back, if the dragon doesn't look good, I send it back. I return it because it's so important, the two animals.
Yep.
And they definitely are the key to whether the casting came out well or not. And I have a wonderful caster who's actually local. You talk about local,
there you go.
local people.
Support local talent. Support
they're
local
in,
artists. Amen to that.
Johnston, Rhode Island, they are.
Oh, I know who you're talking about then. Yeah.
It's Harrison Castings.
Yep.
And they're great. They're great.
A friend of mine's many years ago had it was a ring and a medallion of Nick Sirio's crest.
Yes.
And they were the one who did that. And that's how I found out about them. Yeah, they do phenomenal work.
Yeah, so, and you get that same detail in the ring, and you'll see a picture of the ring, when I send them to Joe. He'll put them in this segment, but you get the same detail, like I said before, no matter how small it gets, because of how awesome technology is today.
No doubt.
And yay, technology, right?
Amen to that. The joys of modern technology. Now, let's talk about something that you got into that gave it a very interesting aspect to your jewelry, and that was, for lack of a better term, I'm probably using the wrong term, but enamel or image setting.
Image setting, yes. Photo pendants.
Right, and
yes.
That's given a whole new level where you've been able to depict not only Mr. Parker's crest, but Mr. Tatum's crest, and other independent schools. And you have a sample here.
Yes.
With the and again, it's not just Kempo, folks. It's any martial art you may study, or different spiritual imaging. In this case, the yin and yang, and I really enjoyed the depiction of this with the purple shading. Tell me about this.
Well, this began as a custom order, which is how many of the different images that some of you may have seen. If you're on my Facebook page, you may have seen that I do custom orders. So if somebody has a particular crest for their school that they want to make, they contact me and they ask me if it's possible. And I came up with the photo pendant process because a lot of people, or to a lot of the schools and to a lot of Kempoists, including in the IKKA patch, the colors are important.
Very much so.
The colors are very important in a lot of these patches. They mean something. So I was like, how do I get color into these pendants without my client having to spend $1 bazillion or order thousands of pendants, because I would be making them through another company, which I didn't want to do because I want there to be some level of handmade in all of my pieces. So I devised the photo pendant process, and it's not a new technique. I didn't invent it, I didn't create it, but there's great products out there, and there's great printers out there, and there's great paper, and there's also, in the jewelry industry, there are great epoxies and plastics and things like that, and they're jewelry grade, and they seal the photo into the pendant, and that just again opens a trillion doors, because basically you can make any patch into a pendant.
That's incredible.
So that's how somebody asked for a yin and yang. And it's basically a high quality image. I have a very nice printer at home that I invested in, and I get very nice paper. And I hand make usually the frame.
The setting. Wow.
It's handmade, and you have different options for texture. In this case, it's hammered, so as you can see, it has the hammered texture. And then I put the photo in, and I seal it, and I cure it for as long as I can, usually at least 24 hours. And there you go. It turns into a beautiful pendant.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you know, and we're going to show samples again. This whether again you've done imagery from everything from Shotokan to Goju and other arts that we'll be showing. And well, our final question today is, what does the future hold for you in relationship to your art and your martial art?
Yeah, well, I hope to continue building the Kenpo jewelry line. I have a lot of other things in the works for it. I have a lot of custom orders, which I love to do. But I'm also definitely moving into a direction where, you know, I've been apprenticing with Master Lo teaching. I've been teaching now. I've been doing peewees and children and teens for about 4 years. And I absolutely love the teaching. So I wouldn't say I'm at a crossroads, but I'm really looking for a way to do both.
Excellent.
You know, do everything. Make the jewelry and prosper with that, but also really, you know, go deeper with my training and really study and really explore and really give, you know, quality time to the training, because, you know, both of them are, it's like two halves of a heart. It's like a yin and a yang. It's the jewelry and the Kenpo, and I'm always trying to make it work where the two meet, so that I can do, half the time I'm doing the, well, let's put it into thirds. My family is extremely important to me. I have a, you know, wonderful family. So my priorities are my family and my daughter and my jewelry business and Kenpo.
Excellent.
And I just, you know, circulate the three.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's a very exciting time for me.
Well, you know, I mean, like we talked about the universal pattern in the center of the shape is that heart shape, and you're really putting your heart into your passion. And we always talk about the power of the three to mind, body, and spirit. And again, in your case, your art, your martial arts, and your family home life. You know, it's so critically important.
Can I just say one more thing?
Of course, by all means.
It's a little anecdote. I'll never forget that time you came to visit me in my old location. Yep. Do you remember that? It was my smallest studio in Canton on Rockland Street.
Made the pilgrimage.
And I think you were picking up your pendant or something, but it doesn't matter. But I'll never forget, we had a conversation about the heart. And the heart technique, which, oh, now I'm drawing a blank on the name of the technique.
Oh, blinding sacrifice.
Yes,
it has,
blinding sacrifice.
There's your Kenpo trivia for those of you who are on Kenpo. If you look, there's a whole series of all these heart shapes, all built into the way the patterns work, and it's just a series of 3 hearts all placed together.
Yes, and I have to tell you, I never forgot that conversation and how we talked about it, and now every time I practice long 3, or perform long 3, I think of you.
Well, thank you.
When I do blinding sacrifice.
Thank you. It's about, well, you know, putting the heart into your art and your martial arts. Christina, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Joe.
And we'll be back with some more wonderful images of this incredible jewelry here on Martial Arts Today. Stay tuned.